Welcome back to the Mission Debrief, episode number 12, Mission 146. My name is Alex.
And I'm Haley.
And you are tuning in. We are live here from headquarters. Honor Flight headquarters. It is a beautiful, cold day here in Columbus. In Washington, D.C., however, it was pretty nice.
It was cool, but sun was shining.
What is just speaking of which, what is the weather going to look like? What is the weather going to look like going forward in DC? Do we know?
You mean like for the remainder of the season?
Yeah.
It's going to be cooler, so definitely layers, but it's usually pretty pleasant.
Nice. This season of the podcast is sponsored by
Specialty Gas House.
Correct. And this Mission 146 that we just embarked on is sponsored by
the Reagan McNamara family, which
Correct.
we had some of the family members on the flight. There was a couple who actually lived in Washington, D.C. and met us there.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they were on my bus.
Oh, were they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
I sometimes we meet.
Well, actually, they were on a couple buses.
This is a complete side note. Every time that we go on a flight, and until I started to really know the National Guard gentlemen, I thought everybody that was with us just came there, and then I started realizing there was
Flew with us?
Yeah. And then I started realizing, why are there more people here than we came with? So, yes, sponsored by the Reagan McNamara family. An amazing contribution. Every year.
They've been doing some consistent flights now for a few years. And then Jenny Reagan, who kind of spearheads this contribution, she also is part of the All Life Foundation. It's her family's foundation, and she sponsors a flight a year doing that as well. And she's known pretty well in our community for advocating for veterans and veteran services.
And the biggest smile when I get off the flight and she handed me a blanket.
Yeah, they
She's
give
like,
really
"How
nice
are you?" And I'm like,
handouts.
"I'm tired, but
I'm happy.
But I'm happy. I'm glad you're happy."
Yeah.
We have a special guest coming on the show today.
We want to do it a little different this time.
Yeah. We would like to phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
Yeah.
Call in that lifeline.
Yeah. We are going to talk to somebody special, so just tune in right here.
All right, give him a call. Hopefully he answers. That'd be so embarrassing for you if he doesn't answer your call. Coming from my phone.
Hello.
Hello, Bill.
Yeah. Hey, Alex.
Hey, you are live here on our podcast, the Mission Debrief.
Oh, great.
Bill, we decided to call you. This was actually last second to call you because
we were talking about what we were gonna cover today, and we knew we were gonna talk about you.
and I knew that we were going to forget details. So we said, why don't we hear it? Well, it's sad from the horse's mouth himself.
I
So
appreciate that.
yeah. So actually,
Well, first, let me say a little bit about
wait.
Bill.
Where are you? Where are we calling you at? Where are you?
I'm at home in Sandusky, Ohio.
Okay, right on. I don't know
So-
why. I just needed to know that.
So Bill, actually, when did you start volunteering with Honor Flight Columbus?
June of 23 was my first flight
Okay.
as a
So,
guardian.
and when you were doing that, you were coming from Columbus, right?
Correct. Yeah, I lived in Columbus at that time.
So now you live, and for people who aren't familiar with Sandusky, how far are you from Columbus now?
2 hours.
Yeah, so you're a good jaunt away. And you have been doing, we were talking about this morning, Beth and I were, but as an office, we talked about this. So we've kind of introduced this concept on the podcast of nominating volunteers who've just gone above and beyond. And you were the first one that we ever thought of, to be honest, to present the flag to the eldest veteran, but we wanted to save it because we didn't want to do it in the beginning. We wanted to save it. It was just like, once we did it, we just like didn't want it to be over. So, Bill was our chosen volunteer to do this. And one of the things that has stood out for us the most is, even though you've located to a very different region, you're actually doing, I mean, not that you didn't do a ton when you lived here in Columbus, but now it's like you are holding the fort near the Mansfield VA, where we just don't have outreach. And we are so grateful for that. That's huge.
Well, I appreciate that.
And we actually, so there's a couple things we wanted to talk to you about. The first,
Mhm.
we do want to talk about your mom because I know there was a special birthday this weekend, right?
It wasn't a birthday, no.
Oh, was it her service anniversary?
It was, well, what had happened, the reason I took that photo and wanted my picture taken with it at the Marine Corps Memorial was the city of Worcester this past week put banners up in their downtown area,
Mm,
as a lot of communities do of veterans. I know Westerville does as well,
yes.
down where you guys are. So Mom's banner went up this past week. So I thought it would be kind of cool to take the picture there of that banner and have my photo taken in front of the Marine Corps Memorial. And I wanted to send that along to my niece in
Oh, that's
Worcester and
cool.
a couple other people that helped make that happen, getting her banner made up and hung in downtown Worcester.
So introduce us to your mom and who she was, not just to you, but also, I mean, she's a hero. So tell us about her.
Well, she enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1943 and served until November of 45 when she was discharged. And she ended up becoming in 44. She was first sergeant in a aviation women's squadron, Squadron 3.
Wow.
She was the ranking non-com of that squadron and had command over about 400 other women.
Wow.
400 other women.
hmm
Holy moly.
So so
I don't
raising
have
you
that
was
many
easy.
friends on Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah. So then 400, so that it made seem like raising you was easy at that
I
point.
said that. That was my
Oh,
joke.
sorry.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of three boys, so she had
Wow.
her hands full, but she had a pretty good handle on us.
Wow. So, now do you have other military service in your family as well?
Not in my immediate
Okay.
family. My wife's father served. He was a paratrooper in the 101st Airborne during World War
Oh,
II.
wow.
And tell, because you and I talked a little bit about this. I don't know, Alex, if you were sitting there. Tell us kind of the progression of where he served.
Well, he enlisted in Pittsburgh and took his jump training in Fort Benning. The 500. He was in the 501st PIR, the Parachute Infantry Regiment.
Hmm.
They weren't actually assigned to the 101st till they got to England prior to the Normandy invasion.
Wow.
But he did have a Screaming Eagle patch on his shoulder when he jumped out of the plane over Normandy and throughout the rest of the war.
Wow.
So he made two combat jumps, one in Normandy and one in the Netherlands for Operation Market Garden.
Jeez.
And then, in his words, he jumped out of a truck and marched into Bastogne for the Battle of the Bulge.
Wow.
Wow.
That would be
So that's-
intimidating to have him as a father-in-law, I feel like.
Well, actually, I mean, it's like, we've talked before, and it's been my impression of every veteran I've ever met. They're the most humble, unassuming people you'd ever want to meet.
Yeah. Agreed.
Now, what was cool about Dick was he became a history teacher, so he did
Oh my
enjoy
gosh.
talking about his time in the war.
I
And
cannot
it got-
imagine getting to be a student of his.
I wouldn't either, because if I complained
Yeah.
about anything, he'd be like, listen, I got some stuff to complain about. But he probably didn't.
My wife, was his daughter, had him as a history teacher when she was in high school. So,
Oh wow! To have your dad and to actually have a World War II
Right? You
veteran.
got to earn your A.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you do. Wow, that's amazing. So, I guess what inspired you to start serving with Honor Flight Columbus? Was it related to your mom and to your father-in-law? Separate?
Well, it was more my father-in-law. In 2014, Terry and I took a trip over to Europe
Hmm.
with Dick and her mom and kind of retraced his footsteps throughout the war. I mean,
Oh
our
my gosh.
conversations about it at home got to the point that he suggested that we go over there and see for ourselves where he was talking about.
Wow.
So we went over there, and that trip just opened my eyes to a lot of things.
Hmm.
Just about how lucky we are here in this country, and I knew kind of right then and there that I wanted to do something once I retired that would help veterans.
Wow.
And it was a bit of I tried different things and different organizations, if you will. And when I found Honor Flight, I was hooked. I mean, that this organization it fits me like a glove.
Yeah, I agree. You You
I
have
agree.
become an essential component of what we do, and then also the example of how we encourage other volunteers of like, yeah, flying is really awesome, but also be like Bill.
I honestly, I've said it on a couple flights coming in. You know, when we first get to DC and everything's discombobulated, and we're all just trying to get to the
bus.
to the bus, and I'm like, honestly, Bill, not to be sentimental, but you're a shining star.
Yeah.
Like when we get off the
Well,
bus, we get
I
off the bus, and
appreciate
I'm like,
that.
I know Bill's going to be there smiling. So
Steady
let's-
and
yep.
And we've like gotten to watch veterans, like you are such a genuine person and people pick up on that little in veterans. And so watching you interact, we talk about that in the office a lot when we kind of debrief after flights together, what was successful and what wasn't. And it's always like success, Bill Herzog. And now we've gotten to see, especially this fall season, some of the veterans that you're recruiting from Mansfield.
Yeah.
So tell us
And
a little
that's
bit.
making it even a lot more fun for me.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, because you're there, what, every other week?
Every other Tuesday. Yeah. I was
Every
just
other
there
Tuesday.
yesterday.
Oh,
matter of
wow.
fact, yeah.
So one story that I wanted to talk about, and then when Alex had the idea, let's just call Bill. I figure you're better to tell David's story than I am. Tell us how you met him and what his service was and what his service is today.
Well, Dave actually works at the VA down there in Mansfield. He's in the radiology department. So I'm sure you noticed he and I spent a little time together on
Yes.
this last flight. And over the past year, we've really gotten to know each other quite well. I mean, he comes out and spends time with me and talks with me, and I love hearing from him and seeing him every time I go down there. He was in the Air Force,
Mhm.
and he actually was a bomb disposal specialist.
Wow.
So he's he's got quite a storied tale himself. But the thing that impresses me most about Dave and is that story that I told you when we were waiting to load the buses there behind Lincoln are his two children.
Yes.
And I actually got to meet Charlotte yesterday.
Oh, really?
Down there. Yeah. Yeah. She delivered her dad some quiche for lunch.
Aw, she's a good daughter.
So it's just a coincidence. Yeah. She just finished her first deployment in Iraq.
Wow.
And is on a well-deserved furlough here in Mansfield. And she actually left this morning for Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri for command training.
Wow.
So she's making this a career. I mean, she's quite a woman, a West Point graduate. She is an Army Ranger, and just looking to make this military career hers. So she's doing a great job of it.
Didn't you also mention that did she play rugby at West Point?
No.
Oh no, I thought you might have said that.
Dave may have said something
Okay.
about that.
Okay.
I believe
think
she
he
did. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. And then he has a son as
Yeah,
well.
She also she has a degree in nuclear engineering
Oh
from
my
West Point.
gosh.
Simple.
From West Point.
From West-
which is
no way.
amazing also.
Yeah, right.
Holy cow.
You know, you go through the rigors of being a cadet at West Point and to graduate with a degree like that, that says something about the woman.
Yeah.
Agreed. That's incredible. And it said, like you said at the bus, that says something about who her dad is and the kind of man he is.
Exactly.
And her mother as well, of course.
Exactly.
But
Mhm.
wow. And then he has a
Yep.
son as well, and he's also in the service?
Yeah, Kendall is a captain, just got made captain last fall and just got his first command down at Fort Bragg this
That's
past
awesome.
summer, just a couple months ago.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
A hero raising
Dave
heroes.
likes bragging about his kids, and I like hearing about them. I mean, he shows me pictures and videos, and it's great.
That's amazing. Yeah, he was really, really neat to kind of meet and talk to throughout the day here and there. And just a really great example of why outreaching is so, I mean, it's vital. And you and I talk a lot about, if people are looking for a way to directly impact veterans, we would love to take donations to, put them up in the hotel, because it's not easy to drive, if they've got to be there at 5:45 a.m. to drive 2 hours before that. And then we land at, on a good day, 9:30, and then 2 hours after the welcome home. I mean, they're not home till after midnight. That is a very long day. And for
Correct.
some, it's not accessible because of that. So we
And there's a
want
lot of
that.
veterans I talk to when I'm down there at the VA that is the one piece of the puzzle that pushes them to actually fill out the application and join us on a flight is the fact that they've got that hotel available for them at a discounted rate. So if we
Yes.
could make it happen with the board to where there's not going to be any cost for that
Agreed. Yeah.
either, then I think that that would help even more to get more veterans signed up.
Agreed. My hope, and you and I've talked about this, I want to see us as an organization cover that. And until then, if you are interested, we highly encourage, give us a call and donate to that cause, because Bill's got veterans now that are really wanting to do that. And as we continue to outreach in those areas, and it's hopefully just going to trickle down, hopefully even more will want that to utilize the hotels, keep everybody safe, and just have a better day because you get a good night's rest before and after.
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, just when I lived in Columbus, driving home to Shawnee Hills from the airport was a
So
task.
true.
It's a long day.
It's so true.
Well, Bill, we really appreciate you jumping on here. Thank you to your father-in-law for his service. Thank you to your mother. They're the American heroes. And to be honest, Bill, I look up to you more than you would ever think. And to me, you're a hero. So
I appreciate that, Alex, and same goes for you too. It's a family down there,
Yeah,
and
it is.
I'm just happy to be a part of it.
wow.
We look forward to November 6th. We see you
Okey-doke.
again, right?
All right,
See you in DC.
stay
That's right.
stay off the rides at Cedar Point, and we'll see you in DC.
All righty.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Take care now.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Well, perfect. You have heard from the Bill Herzog.
Yes.
An amazing man.
Yeah,
amazing
glad
man.
glad
Really
you
cool
had
story.
that idea.
Yeah, really
to
cool
go on.
story. I would love to. I'd love to jump up there and see his mom's flag in Worcester. Worcester is a little
That would be
bit far
cool.
from me.
I thought you were going to say you wanted him to invite you to jet ski with him, because he invites his veterans sometimes
No
to jet
way.
ski. Yeah.
I have not got that invite
Well,
yet.
you're not that cool yet. We'll see. We'll see. You featured him on the podcast. We'll see how that goes.
So 146, Reagan McNamara flight, like we said.
yes.
It started out great. We had a little bit of a delay in the morning. So we jumped right into
oh, yes. I'm like, delay what? Yeah, we did have a delay.
we had a delay in the morning.
So our schedule, we again pivoted and decided in the morning just so that we weren't rushed. We might have been able to make it, but we didn't want to rush. So this way we just went straight to Arlington. We find that in terms of stops in DC, the changing of the guard is really important and significant for the veterans. It's just something that they really, it just means a lot to them. And I think getting to see kind of the ceremonial component of the military represented in such an intimate way with guarding the Tomb of the Unknown.
Is there anything that you can remember from this flight? Typically, we've been talking a lot about Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. A lot of those, like we've had the Rainbow not too long ago. We've gone in the evening time. We've gone in the morning time.
Oh, yeah.
Anything significant that came across your
Well,
mind?
for me, Arlington in the fall.
Can I say mine?
Oh, I didn't. Okay. I didn't know that was a tee up for you.
We had there was jets that flew over,
Oh my gosh.
which surprised surprised
What was
me.
the formation? Do you remember?
I do not remember. No.
I don't want to say it and get it wrong. So if you know, drop a comment if you're listening on YouTube. Otherwise, go on to YouTube
But
and drop a comment.
it was pretty like everybody. It came so suddenly and so quickly.
Yeah.
That it
during the actual changing of the
yeah,
guard.
yeah. It was a wreath laying ceremony. So I don't know, but you think it was the missing man formation?
I think so.
But it was pretty neat to see all at once.
Which, if in fact it was, let's just put it this way. That's what I thought someone told me. And even if it wasn't, to have that moment where I thought that's what it was, at the Tomb of the Unknown, knowing that like they're unknown, so therefore like that person is still MIA.
Yep.
I just think that together was like a really impactful experience.
It was pretty neat. Like I said, it was a shock to see.
Yeah.
I barely got my camera phone.
Your
up.
camera phone.
my phone camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on top of that, it was fall, which was beautiful. So, so it was a great way to start the morning. And, a flyover is always really special, regardless of what the formation is and where we're at, but especially there.
Yep.
And then we went from there and we went straight to lunch,
Yeah, we went
which
straight
was
to Navy.
crazy. Yeah, so we had lunch there. A lot of questions we've been fielding in the office and then out in the community have to do with the fact that there is a government shutdown going on right now. How does that impact our flights and our operations and our logistics? Let's put it this way. Alex, would you have noticed that the government was shut down?
Nope.
Yeah. So that was awesome. We brought toilet paper in case the bathrooms were not serviced. They're not always serviced anyways. But I don't think we really ran into much of an issue. However, on the next mission, there might be some changes that we make, but really grateful that we didn't have that kind of impact. I know some people are nervous about the whole air traffic control. We're not going to fly if it's not safe.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
Correct.
So far we are
I don't
still
think
a
they
go.
would fly us if it wasn't.
That's what I
safe.
mean.
Yeah.
Like the liability for the airport and the airlines is much higher than they would want to incur if. Yeah. So anyways, we went to lunch. I had something different for lunch this time. I know that's not really, we're not debriefing Haley's experience, but I had a chicken salad sandwich and it was really delightful.
Yeah, I would never. So
Yeah.
I'm glad it was good.
I think Michael, the bus driver, also tried it. He said it was good. But anyways, that was a treat. And then we went from there, I believe, to Iwo Jima and Air Force.
Yep.
Which one of the reasons we did the schedule the way we did is because we try to avoid going to those memorials in the evening this time of year because it's dusk and it's harder to, one, see the memorials, and two, it can just be easier to have trip hazards and
as
situations.
well, they are staffed. Like Air Force is staffed. I don't know how late they're staffed in the evening.
Yeah, we've gone at night before.
Have you?
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say I also really love going to I like all the memorials in the fall, but there is something really cool about Air Force because you overlook and you see Arlington and then you see the fall colors. Here in Ohio, the fall colors have been really sad because we didn't get a lot of rain.
Jeez, Pete's.
I'm sorry. I was thinking about that on the way to work today. But in DC, there's a little bit more color, so that was happy. And then we went from there to, actually, I lied. We did World War II, and then we did Air Force and EWO.
Oh, that's right.
We flipped those. But so we actually went from lunch to World War II. We arrived at World War II, and throughout our time at our stop there, we were greeted by a congressman as well as the second lady, just there to kind of recognize our veteran services and, recognize our heroes. And then we did our flag presentation for our eldest veteran, which Bill Herzog,
Yep.
who we just spoke with, was a part of. And on this trip, I don't know, you kind of mentioned them, but I don't think you mentioned that this was part of it. I think we talked about this on the last podcast, that was the last flight with the 174.
But it was not.
But it wasn't. They surprised us. I don't know if there was just their command, everything got shuffled a little bit.
Yep.
And so they reached out and were like, is there any way there's room for us? And, we will always have room for them.
Yes.
Even if we have to kick you off.
Yeah.
Ha ha.
So funny. So I would like to mention something because I know you're not going to speak about it. At the end of, we took our group photos as we do, or I took the group photos as I do. Right after that, was it the sergeant? Who's
Hobson?
Hobson. Yeah. So Hobson with the National Guard got everyone's attention, and he presented 2 challenge coins to the crowd. Not to just generalize crowd. One to Beth and one to Haley in operations. Can you explain to me what that was about and why that happened?
I kind of blocked it out a little
Should
bit
we all
because
bow to you?
I just
You were
didn't
not
expect
expecting it.
Well, he had come to me ahead of time and said he had something he wanted to present to Beth. Would it be okay if he did at that point? And I was like, obviously, of course. I felt so bad because I forgot to grab the mic because we had just like a change of logistics when we were taking that group photo and it was so chaotic.
That's a rude move.
I know. I felt so bad. And so he was like, he just got everybody's attention because he's Hobson. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And
He knows what he's doing. Just let him go.
explained about the challenge coin that their task force, Brutus.
And these weren't just challenge coins.
They're huge.
They're the size of my head.
They're larger than the palm of my hand.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Like actually,
Yeah.
it wasn't as big as your head, but we appreciate the drama.
Yeah.
one side, it's their personal, the 174th Task Force Brutus challenge coin that they made. So on the front, it has the commanding officer's information, a little bit of their symbolism on there, and then you turn it over and it's a big Brutus, which is really fun. And he said 250 of them, I think, were made. President has one, vice president has one. I wasn't sure if it was this administration or the last. Either way,
Ohio State
the president
head
of the
football
United
coach
States
has one.
Yeah, I think there's a senator, he said, that had one. And then, Beth had one. And then he was just kind of recognizing Beth's leadership and, the excellence of which she kind of leads our whole organization and her heart for service and for veterans. And so obviously very well deserved. And then, yeah. And then I got one too.
Then he presented you one.
Which was so nice.
Because of your heart for service. And he said things wouldn't be happening and wouldn't be put together without you. So.
It was very, very kind. It is truly a group effort. Like the collaboration we have in the office is one of my favorite parts of the job, other than just like what we're doing, but being able to collaborate with Megan and Celeste and Beth. And like we even did that today before the podcast. Like Megan had brought up some points that were very true, and you kind of step away and you think about them, and then you come back and you talk about them some more, and just having that kind of environment where it's safe to kind of say like, actually, maybe I disagree with you, or no, you're totally right, or come back and change your mind is really a unique thing in the workplace.
It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. So you can see that in the flow of our logistics, I think. And for people who have flown this season and they're like, oh, what do you mean smooth logistics? The airport. Listen, two things to say about the airport, which I know this isn't really where you were going with that, but I'm done talking about myself. So I would say two things that everyone should know. The first, if you're on a flight and we're using the people movers and we make you change things, it's not because we think it's really fun to redirect you. We're just doing we're complying with federal law, essentially, because I have to listen to the flight attendants and whatever. And then it's not just because Megan wants to be difficult. Just kidding. I don't think she listens to this enough to hear all I say about her. The second thing is at night, we've gotten the feedback that like, oh, you guys are so late all the time. No, we've had a couple of flight delays totally outside of our control. The airport people mover shuttle broke down. So like, what are we, we just have to be patient. And we are so grateful that the Welcome Home crowd stays to welcome home our veterans, because ultimately that part of the experience is the most beautiful conclusion of the day that you could possibly imagine. So stay late, even though you're tired, even though you're ready to go, and we're still not there yet. If it happens and we have a delay, please stay.
Please stay.
Please
stay.
You will not regret
it.
Okay. Don't be creepy. So anyways, there was a story that I kind of wanted to talk about it was at Vietnam. So this was a bit of a younger flight. I think our oldest veteran was in his 80s, correct?
Yep.
But as usual, majority were Vietnam. We had several Vietnam combat veterans, as well as those who served during ERA to support the combat veterans. One group in particular, I'm not going to mention names because I'm going to talk about more of an emotionally vulnerable moment at the wall. So I want to, allow them to have some privacy. Yeah. But it's worth saying. So it was a Guardian and two veterans. And so I go down to the wall just to kind of capture what's going on. And the Guardian kind of comes up to me and voices some concern because her veteran, it was a big deal, a name on the wall. And he wasn't able to get a good etching because he was just too emotional. And she wanted to do an etching for him. And she just wanted to know, how can I make this moment really special so that when we walk away, he won't regret not doing more, only because he doesn't want to get super emotional in front of everyone, that kind of thing. So I grabbed Deneen, who was one of our bus leads this trip. And Deneen she would be a good one to have on here. We should call her sometime because she does she's an incredible community presence in general. But one of the things that she does is she knows how she's so good at talking to people who are struggling emotionally. I've been the recipient of that for a very long time, as my friend. So I pulled her purposely because she's really good at balancing the jovial and kind of keeping it lighthearted while addressing the seriousness of the moment. So I brought her over and she brought the etching material and we were just kind of talking lighthearted. And I said to the guardian, just take the etching. We won't make a big deal of it. Just do it, the rubbing, so that he'll have one. And as we did that, Deneen she gets this repertoire going with him and says, okay, now stand over next to it. And he stands over next to it. He salutes it. He starts really engaging with the name and then talking about the name. And I think between his guardian, what the prep work his guardian had done, Deneen and I coming over, the veteran he was with, all of that was the perfect combination to give him the moment he needed at the wall, this emotional moment to get reconnected with this name.
It makes more sense to me now. I walked over and I said, what is happening?
You're like, what's going on? Yeah, because it's interesting because when I first started doing this, I felt wrong if I were laughing at the wall with the veteran. But then you start to realize like, no, whatever this veteran needs at the wall is important. And I don't think that the names on the wall would just want you to stand there and, be devastated. I think they died for our freedom. They died for our capacity to pursue happiness in this country. And so having that moment with a veteran to smile, to laugh, just kind of, it almost becomes full circle now. Obviously it's not just like I'm standing at the wall joking around, but with a veteran and allowing them to lead that experience. So
I agree.
Yeah, it was really special.
That's a good way to look at that.
Yeah, it was a really special moment. And I just have to say kudos to the guardian, who I'd love to say by name, but kudos to the guardian who just really was sensitive to that moment and wasn't afraid to step out of her comfort zone to say, how do I do this and do this well? And her instincts were totally correct, and just being able for us to provide the confidence for her that yes, this is what you need to do. And that story I think is so important. If you're listening to this and you have gone as a guardian or you're thinking about going, just know that like you have the resources. You don't have to have all the answers, but being in these moments and not being afraid to be vulnerable allows your veteran the freedom and the safe place to be vulnerable.
There is no right answer.
Correct.
Every single time.
Right answer.
Because in more than most cases, you just met this veteran for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You're in one of the most sentimental moments of their life.
Yes.
And you're thrown into that. All you have to do is be yourself. So, yeah,
Did you just answer the phone? Yeah. And you just hung up?
Yeah. Okay. So if you've just called Honor Flight Columbus, I've never answered the phone before.
You were just supposed to turn the volume down, Goose.
Oops. I apologize for hanging up on you.
Hopefully the ladies out in the office will help with that one. But yeah, like you said, there's no right answer.
Hold on.
Except answer. So anyways, we had to take a momentary pause so that we could call that poor gentleman back.
We apologize, sir.
Yeah, hopefully he's a listener.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, we had a really great stop. Weather was beautiful, as you mentioned, at World War II, Vietnam, Korea. And then so as I mentioned in our schedule, after we went to that stop, we went to Air Force and Iwo Jima.
Yes. Can we talk about the woman veteran that we have?
No, not yet. I just told you we will wait until we get to dinner. I wanted to stop and talk about one of our veterans named Paul. His best friend was supposed to fly with us and passed just a couple months ago before his honor flight. So he brought a picture with him. And I always love when veterans do this because I think it's such a beautiful homage. And you kind of made the point to this recently that, an honor flight is not just for you, the veteran who's going. It's also for those of your comrades who are unable to go, either because they died before they received their trip or because they never made it home to begin with. Correct. So that's a really special experience when veterans allow us in on that moment. And they bring an image. So he brought an image of his buddy Howard, and his guardian made sure that they took pictures at his service memorials and his war memorials.
Do you remember, is his name Bob, you said?
No, I said his name was Paul, and then his friend was Howard.
Oh, it just sounds like those two guys, I can just imagine them sounding
Paul
like a sitcom. Like I'd like to hang out with them.
Yeah.
Paul and Howie. We're all here.
I don't know if we went by Howie, but.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But yeah, so we got to share in that, and that's really special. I met a veteran yesterday that encouraged to do the same thing
Yep.
when he comes on his flight. So that was really, really
You had
great.
mentioned him, and the gentleman is going 148.
Yes, he's on, which actually let's talk about him for a second. So he's on the November 13th flight. He knows a gentleman named Gary who flew on this flight.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to get the story 100% correct. So don't fact check me, but the sentiment is there. So his buddy Gary, who is super well involved in the veteran community in Westerville, went on his flight just on this mission 146. He somehow, the veteran that is going on 1113, he told us he is friends with Gary, and he met a girl whose grandfather was a refugee who had been
Airlifted from
airlifted.
the Cambodia embassy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. By
And
Gary's unit.
Yes, and he was on the ship that they took them to.
Yes,
directly
that's
to.
what it was. Yeah.
Yep.
So that was a small world.
Yeah, he's like, they have that connection now.
Mhm.
together.
Yeah, and they've been buddies for a while, but
They just found
he
that out.
just happened to meet the granddaughter or great granddaughter or something. But that was really cool. I thought
Yeah,
that was really
that's-
cool.
That's
So
super neat.
yeah, so I can't remember if Howard was a Air Force veteran or a Marine, but at one of those stops we took his picture. And then that'll be on our gallery. So definitely check out our gallery when that is published on our website. And then after we went to those stops, we took all 74 veterans to the Women Memorial, the Military Women's Memorial. We had one servicewoman this time,
Mhm.
and she was, well, I'm not good at math, but she served from 1972 to 1978, and then again from 1990 to 2006. She is a lieutenant colonel with the Air Force.
Yes. 05.
So-
An 05.
An 05.
Yep.
Very, very impressive service career. I know Elizabeth, who is one of our bus leaders. This was her first trip as bus leader. She's been away from us for a while training with the National Guard. But it seemed like that was quite a treat for her
Yeah.
to get to meet now this lieutenant colonel
Yeah.
who was a woman who served for quite some time. And then we got to honor her at the Military Women's Memorial by registering her story. And actually, Elizabeth's partner did the interview for Deborah, was her name. So that was cool. Just these connections that
it's full
continue.
circle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we had a really great dinner there. More time with the veterans and to just kind of take in the whole day. I like being able to sit for a minute and just kind of take in the whole day before we navigate the airport, and then also have the huge, amazing, overstimulating welcome home. So it's always a special moment. We had some great EMTs this trip again.
Yep.
As always, I like serving with that group. Tim this time, I always enjoy serving with him, but he's just really good at being able to tend to needs with a gentle spirit, but also a sense of authority of like, hey, everything's fine. Here's what we're going to do. So I like loading the plane with him and unloading the plane with him, especially. He's really great at that. So we finished. Anything else you want to add? Because you and I, we didn't spend a ton of time together during the flight day. Is there anything from the flight day that you wanted to?
No, it was
mention?
the weather was perfect.
Yeah.
I absolutely love the weather. Going from, I think, rainy last time I had gone
Mhm.
on one until
Misty.
misty. Yeah. Absolutely perfect. Excited to see the foliage
Foliage.
of DC.
Foliage.
As we come up in the next couple trips.
Mhm.
But an incredible group. Everything went very smoothly. Operations staff did an incredible job. Our bus guys, the bus gang, the gang of boys, the little boys.
I know, that's weird.
They
Caesar,
did
Trey, and Michael are
this-
still serving with us. And actually this time we did want to do something for them. We were going to give it to them at the end of the season, but then it was like, well, they can't wear it. So we went and had jackets, very nice jackets made for them with our logo on it. That kind of goes with their bus uniforms as well. So,
Yeah.
and
And I got to Americanize them.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
you gave away all your patches.
I gave away all my patches. Each one has an American flag patch.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is great. And having said that, probably should also mention the business, Fully Promoted, that does all of our shirts and everything like that. Scott, who owns the business, was on the trip as a guardian. So it's always great when our community partners like that get to come in, and he turned those around really quickly for us so that we could get those to the guys. Maybe we'll post a picture, but you can definitely see their jackets and how excited they are in our gallery. Encourage people to check out our gallery. I think we should encourage more of that, especially if you've listened to the Mission Debrief. Check it out. I don't know. It just always goes back to seeing the photographs, just kind of gives you a more intimate look of the day. So
Agreed.
And then finally, we make it to the welcome home.
Oh, yeah. Welcome home was amazing. Loud.
I would say there was a veteran that I had met at the wall that I went over to kind of talk with a little bit because he was so emotional, and getting to see him again at the welcome home. He was like, "I'm so sorry I was so emotional." And I was like, "No, this is your day.
You're allowed to be emotional."
And I was like, "Thank you for sharing your emotions with me." And so getting to see him and the veteran who we had helped at the wall, just getting to see those full circle moments back into the welcome home is really special. And I saw in the crowd a high school student from last fall or 2 springs ago. I can't remember. But that was really special to see her in the crowd again.
Yeah.
After having been on her flight. So
Agreed.
And this time, social media, I think it was Pleasant Valley local schools, highlighted Brady, one of our high school guardians, who did an incredible job this trip, hoping to get his dad involved as an EMT. So yeah, it's just another great trip with amazing people, lots of guardian assistants, and just indebted to the Reagan McNamara family for sponsoring this trip.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. We appreciate everyone for every little part that you did. Our ground crews were amazing.
Rodney.
Our ground crews
Eric.
in DC were amazing.
Yes.
Everyone did an amazing job. It was flawless. We appreciate all of you. Thank you for listening to this podcast, and we will see you next time.